Temperature in the mid-70s under clear and sunny skies in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And we welcome you to Giants Inside Training Camp, presented by the Quest Diagnostics Training Center. Hi again, everybody. I'm Paul Dottino, along with Super Bowl champion Sean O'Hara. So glad you could join us for today, the first day of fully padded practices at Giants Summer Camp.
Yes.
Now, when you hear that, Sean, what does it mean to you?
Well, Paul, there's a reason why I woke up in a three-point stance this morning. We've got padded football. We've got collisions. We've got contact. This is what August is all about. I'm excited being here at the facility and just seeing everybody practice and go to work. But, you know, the flashbacks of the first day of pads, throwing those babies on and just making sure that they're all fitted and, you know, getting ready to hit somebody. It's an exciting time, I know, for the players and for the coaches as well, because this really ramps up their evaluation ability.
Now, I don't know if Sean kind of helped fill the ballot box, but we did ask you fans this morning which side of the ball you'd like to concentrate on during today's show, and you selected the offense. So we will start with number 26, running back Saquon Barkley, getting a look at him right there. The guy looks like he is in even more incredible shape than he has been during the first 2 years of his NFL career. Sean, when the running backs finally get into pads and they know there's going to be a little bit of contact, this is where they kind of start getting their feel for what's going on.
Yeah, when you're a running back, the pads go on. It's all about contact balance. You know, they're not taking you to the ground, so you're not worrying about breaking tackles. But you are now, as you run through the hole, you get a little bit more of a forward lean. And as you break into space, now you know that people are going to come up and thud you up. So it's a great chance to work on your balance. You get hit from the side, you've got to be able to have the strength to stay in bounds or stay upright. And then also the ball security aspect, you know, something that Saquon Barkley has done a pretty good job of throughout his career, but holding on to the football. And now when you're in pads, the defensive guys come up, they're much more aggressive trying to swipe it out. So I think when the pads come on, the first thing that I think of with Saquon Barkley, and as a former offensive lineman, is 9-on-7. We're going inside run drill. We're going to try to work on running the football. When everybody in the building knows we're trying to run the football, it's an advantageous drill for the defense, but you've got to find a way to get those tough, hard yards.
Well, there's Barkley on a play fake and then getting a little dump off to the right side, and I think we will see quite a bit of this. Now, maybe not as many short passes to him as we've seen in the first couple of years of his career, but I do think he's going to catch the ball a lot.
I mean, getting Saquon in space, good things always happen, and what you're seeing right now is a screen drill. And basically, when you start the practice off, you want everybody to get used to running, but this is all about timing. So for the quarterbacks, the play fake, and you saw Saquon leak out, you don't want the running back to leak out ahead of the offensive lineman, because the linebackers will see that. So you want to time it up, and that's what you saw Saquon doing there. He was waiting for the offensive lineman to get out so they could have leverage as they go to try to block downfield. But Saquon in space, no doubt about it. And now an unbelievable 1-2 monster with him and Dion Lewis. Imagine both of them in the backfield and defensively trying to handle that.
Later on this week, in fact on Friday, the Giants will have an actual intra-squad scrimmage where there'll be a little bit more hitting going on than what we're going to see today, Sean. This is still part of that ramp-up phase because, as we all know, these players with their conditioning and their strength programs, they needed to gradually get into football shape. That's the whole key to this training camp right now, is making sure that guys are in shape when they finally get to the field in week 1 of the regular season.
Yeah, they're still in that acclimation period, and the one thing you don't want to do is go live the first day and start having bodies on the ground. When people fall down, that's when you get the ankle injuries. That's when guys get hurt. So to your point, you want to give the players some time to get used to practicing against each other in pads, leaning on each other, pushing on each other. Find out how to practice together. That's a big part of being a pro. And the veterans are teaching the young guys. The young guys have to learn, all right, how do I go fast but play smart and take care of my fellow teammates? So we're getting a look in here, Paulie, at the big hogs. There you see Andrew Thomas on the right, number 78, Eric Smith, number 79, and they're working their fits right now. You can see the emphasis right here on this drill. It's all about having the piston feet and the hands inside. Look at the elbows. You want those hands inside. Look at them right on the breastplate. There's Shane Lemieux, number 66, working with Will Hernandez, number 71. And there's Mark Colombo in the background. with the bandana.
Former Dallas Cowboys offensive line coach who came over with Jason Garrett, the offensive coordinator. And his entire philosophy, as he's presented it to us, is to be rough and tough and rugged and physical, bringing a Cowboys offensive line mentality to the Giants.
Yeah, when you think about the Cowboys' run game over the last 7 years, DeMarco Murray led the league in rushing years ago. Then it's been Ezekiel Elliott. He led the league in rushing a few years ago, and he's been top 5, I think, every year in the league. So how does that happen? It's culture, it's mindset, it's being tough up front and having good technique. These drills right here, this is footwork drill, getting your second step down. Offensive linemen, I know everybody talks about the first step. The second step is so important with power. When I'm watching these drills, I want to see that second foot get down now, because that's how you bring the power. Watch the second foot. Drive those feet in the ground. Shane Lemieux, he's learning from 2 really good guards in Will Hernandez and Kevin Zeitler. Kevin Zeitler right there, number 70. He's been one of the most consistent guards in the league.
Now, number 65. Well, a complement to the offensive line is always going to be the tight end unit, because those guys are also part of the blocking scheme. Now, we know that Evan Ingram has gotten better at blocking over the course of time, but that's still something he's trying to polish up.
I think Evan Ingram, it's all about effort with him, and he cares about it. And you show me a player that cares about getting better at something, and the sky's the limit. So Evan Ingram has all the athleticism. He's strong enough. He looks stronger now than I think I've ever seen him coming into training camp. So no doubt they're an extension of the running game. If you want to run the football well, you better be able to have guys that can block on the perimeter, on the edge. That looks like Lolo, number 89.
Lolo's an interesting guy because, remember, basically he spent most of his career with the Falcons, signs with the Giants as a free agent during the offseason, out of Stanford, 8th season in the NFL, 6'8", Sean, and nearly 270 pounds. That is a big guy right there.
Yeah, I mean, just big, long arms. And I think, when you think big tight ends like that, you immediately think red zone, you think production, but, I think about blocking at the point of attack, having those long arms, having the ability now to cut guys off on the backside. Rob Gronkowski is a very big tight end. People always think about his receiving ability, but he's a phenomenal blocker. So that's a big part of this. And you can see they're working some of the same things that the offensive line did, hands inside, piston feet.
To continue with the passing game, the tight ends, of course, will be a big part of that, but so will these outstanding wide receivers. The Giants have quite a collection led by Shepard and Tate and Slayton, but right now they're trying to work on some of those blocking drills because, let's face it, if they can provide some interference downfield and open up some extra lanes for Barkley, it means big-time yardage.
Yeah, Paul, offensive linemen, we always felt like we'll take credit for the first 4 or 5 yards. Anytime you get a big run, somebody else made a great block downfield, and usually it's a receiver springing that big run. So that drill that you just saw, that's receivers not just blocking a corner that's in front of them, but blocking on the move, which is one of the toughest things to do, as you have to come in and dig out a safety that's crept down at the line of scrimmage or down in the box that's trying to stop the run play. So that's a big part of being a receiver. It goes right along with catching the football.
Has it surprised you that Sterling Shepard has been so good at it, given the fact that he's a little bit more on the smaller side, but he seems very willing to take on guys downfield?
Yeah, I'm not surprised when you learned about Sterling Shepard coming out of college and his work ethic, his high energy. He was never scared of being physical, never shied away from contact. So that's not a surprise, but it's what you need in your receiving room. You need that because it becomes contagious and you become competitive now. All right, he gets a big block and springs a big run. Now he comes back and you're kind of looking at the other guy saying, what are you going to do? Can you do that? Let me see you make a play. There you see a nice catch by Evan Ingram, the ball behind him, and nice adjustment to that. It's like Colt McCoy right here. They're just working quick. These are just little arrow routes, quick outs by the tight end. And really, it's timing. This is accuracy for the quarterbacks too. Get that ball out, and then as a tight end, catch that ball, and then watch how quick they protect it. They put the ball away. And you see a coach right here with the blue shield. He's trying to swipe at it. So it's all about catch the ball, secure it with your body. then protect it. Garrett
Catch and
Dickerson
tuck,
right
a very
there, number
important
89.
deal because, as you know, every defensive player is always thinking about a strip.
They always want to get the ball out. And that becomes routine. If you practice it every single day, on game day, it just becomes natural. You're not even thinking about it.
Now, we go back to the offensive line as we continue to really focus on offense during today's show. Number 75 is Cameron Fleming, a veteran offensive tackle who spent some time with the Patriots, then went to the Dallas Cowboys. He has started on both the left and the right side during his career and is a very valuable addition, Sean, because of his versatility.
Yeah, Cameron Fleming has played a lot of football. He's played both sides. He's been on winning cultures, winning programs, certainly knows Joe Judge well. You just saw Will Hernandez working with Andrew Thomas. This is a backside cutoff drill, Paul, and what you're seeing is this is an outside zone play or a toss play to the other side, and this is the backside. So right now this is a left guard, left tackle. They're trying to cut off the backside defensive tackle and get up to the backside linebacker. So this is all about working footwork, working angles. It's, you know, I know you got an A in geometry, Paul. This is all, it's all angles. That's what offensive line play is all about. So you've got to work well together. You've got to understand it. There's Spencer Pulley stepping in with Kevin Zeitler. This looks like Zeitler. Now they're working combo blocks. If you notice the other drill, they were running much more laterally. So that was outside zone. Now this is more of an inside zone play. So you're going to see on the backside much tighter aiming points, much more vertical push. This is Spencer Pulley working with Kevin Zeitler, center and right guard. This is a combo block. You might call this an ace block. And it's basically we're going to walk this nose tackle, number 61, back into the lap of the linebacker. How do you do that? You get hip to hip. Watch their hips. Look at hip to hip, stay low. So now it's Spencer Pulley working with Will Hernandez, what you call a chip block. He chipped the nose guard up to the linebacker.
Now, to understand what people are watching here, the offensive players are all in blue, and what you're seeing are offensive linemen going up against other offensive linemen who are dummying as defensive linemen, just so people understand that.
Don't say dummy when you're talking to O-linemen. No, yeah, exactly right. You spend the first half of practice working together and working on the leverage, getting the pads. This is combo blocks, Paul. So that's what you're watching right now. You're only as good as the guy next to you. And this is where that brotherhood's created and the techniques mesh together. So Andrew Thomas right here. You saw Will Hernandez right there. He dipped down right there. He almost missed with the contact. But you saw the athleticism that he didn't go down. But that's what you're working on. You're working, because those defensive linemen are going to move. Now you see Colombo showing him right here. Do you see how fast Colombo's feet were? Look, his feet were pounding the grass. Watch the second step. There it is. Look at how much better Will's feet were on the second one. So that's what they're working right now. Now you have the pads. You're hitting people. You're leaning people. That's offensive line play right there. You've got to get leverage. Got to work the feet, work the hands. Nick Gates has got to pull his jersey down. Nick Gates is in there at center. He's got he's working with Slade. I like Slade. Slade's got some natural ability
Sean,
there.
it's funny when we watch these offensive linemen, and so many people don't understand, but the dexterity and the rhythm and the timing, it's almost like a ballet, these guys, especially with the combo blocks, because if the timing is not smooth and if it's not precise, the play breaks down.
It's a pretty ugly ballet if you think about O-linemen and tutus, but it's absolutely choreography, and it's being in sync. It's footwork, not stepping on each other's feet, being balanced. So it's a big part of the unit. You could be a great individual offensive lineman, but if you're combo blocks and you're not used to working with the guy, you're going to get split by a defender, which means no movement at the point of attack.
The competition at center is very interesting. Spencer Pulley is the veteran holdover. The Giants have some other young fellas in camp, including Shane Lemieux, who's trying to convert from guard. But because Pulley is a veteran and has so much experience at the position, how much of a lead does he have on securing that position opening day?
Well, I think he's got a huge lead on the young guys like Shane Lemieux, even Nick Gates, who is more of a tackle / guard, and he's learning to play center as well. And I say that because mentally there's so many things you have to do as a center before you even snap the football. And that responsibility is something that you have to really work at. You've got to be on the same page with the quarterback, see the same things he's seeing. You can't wait for him to tell you everything because he's got his own stuff going on. So the communication aspect is big too. You have to be able to communicate and talk to your guards and tackles and tell them what's going on if you have to change something. So that part of it, Spencer Pulley can handle. He and Daniel Jones have played together before, so he's got a leg up, no doubt, on the young guys.
We go back to a live look in on the Giants receivers. Number 9 is Benjamin Victor, 6'4", just about 200 pounds. Very, very thin in the waist, coming out of Ohio State, and he can be a very dangerous weapon on the outside and in the red zone. He's got tremendous length, over 90 percentile in terms of his wingspan compared to other receivers coming out of the combine.
Yeah, and you just saw that vertical ability on that throw, him going up. So this drill right here, they're basically working their fade route, right down in the red zone. Mm-hmm. You've got press coverage, and you're trying to get to the back pylon. The quarterback's trying to throw the ball to the back pylon. You want that over-the-shoulder throw or the jump ball, which we just saw him go up and get. Here's Darius Slayton. All right, he's working the fade route, little hesitation move. There's the over-the-shoulder throw. That's a nice throw right there. So as a quarterback, you want, if the receiver's not there, you want that ball to land on top of the pylon. Because the thought is, if you get that arc, now it's our ball or nobody's ball. That's Corey Coleman right there. You could see how smooth he is, athletic he is. I mean, he makes that look easy.
Coleman coming off of ACL surgery, and he looks as good as new right now. Golden Tate with a catch. Giants have some experienced wide receivers who should be able to mentor maybe a couple of young guys who might be able to sneak into that room this year. We get a look again at Benjamin Victor. And again, very intriguing because of his length.
Sure. I mean, you look at him right after Golden Tate, and you can already see totally different body types. And that length, that athleticism, there's a nice adjustment right there.
C.J. Board.
Nice catch.
He's the new fellow who just came in after a cup of coffee with the Jaguars.
And you could see them working. There's no defense, but they're trying to set up this fade route by faking inside. And then now that creates space for them to accelerate and beat the defender to the back pylon.
David Sills, he was here on the practice squad last season. You know, the thing about this is that you can watch all the video you want with all the virtual learning you want, but until you actually get out on the field and have the quarterback throwing those timing passes to you, you cannot possibly duplicate that or gain that experience to make the timing work.
No, and every throw is different. So you can run 10 fade routes, and one ball you may have to extend for it. You may have to get a little extra burst for it, dive for it. Maybe another throw, maybe it's windy, which it happens to be at MetLife Stadium quite a bit. Maybe that ball dips down a little bit, and you've got to react to it. Maybe it's an underthrow. I think you've also, you know, when you have, it's easy to run that and work that route with no defense. But now the timing can change. Say you get jammed up by the corner and you're a little late coming out of that break and the quarterback doesn't see it. Now you gotta hustle to get to that pylon.
Just got to look at number 13, Cooper Rush, former Dallas Cowboys quarterback, battling for a depth chart spot on the Giants roster. And one thing we know for sure, he understands Jason Garrett's offense very well.
Yeah, he knows that language. He understands the checks. That's definitely going to be in his favor. He's already ahead of the curve from that standpoint. But I think it's great, too. Quarterback rooms are like other rooms on a football field. You want to help each other out. You want to get better. And I think for a guy like Cooper Rush, he can absolutely talk to Daniel Jones and help him as he learns, all right, what's this concept? Why are we doing it that way? He can be a sounding board for him.
The Giants very lucky in that it seems as though everybody in their quarterback room, from Daniel Jones, the starter, through the rest of the guys on the depth chart, whether it's Tanny, whether it's McCoy, or whether it's Rush, from what we've been able to understand, everybody around the league says they're all very smart, very high in football acumen. They will do a real good job of teaching each other, and that's a tremendous benefit.
You know, one of the ways that you learn as a player in this league is by watching other guys do it. And look, Daniel Jones, this is just his second year. So technically, if I'm an O-lineman, I'm still calling him a rookie until week 4 because it's 1 year and 3 games. He better still be bringing in some breakfast sandwiches for the Hogs. But as a young quarterback, you're constantly learning. You're a sponge. You're soaking it up. Mentally, visually, you're watching Colt McCoy. You're watching Alex Tanney. You're watching their footwork. You're watching the things that they're looking at. And as a quarterback, you have to train your eyes. That's one of the big challenges. So you have to be looking at the right guy, understand the coverage pre-snap, and say, look, all right, I'm reading this one safety. And once I see what he declares, oh, it's cover 2, oh, it's zone, okay, I know exactly where I'm going. And you can only do that by training your eyes and training your progression.
Jerry Slaplinski, the quarterback's coach, right behind Daniel Jones, going over a few tips after he watched Jones throw some of the passes that he was able to complete. Jones, in my opinion, I mean, we've all talked about how he's added a little bit of bulk, but I like the definition. I mean, look at his arms. He definitely seems to have added some upper body and I think even some lower body strength. We've discussed how that certainly will help him in his second NFL season. Back to the offensive line, the guys who have to protect Daniel Jones to make sure that he doesn't get knocked around too much. And Andrew Thomas, the tackle out of Georgia, the number 4 overall pick in this spring's draft, number 78, and that's a guy who's going to have quite a spotlight on him this year.
He certainly will, and you see him over there on the left side. I certainly expect him to get a chance to earn that spot.
Fellow rookie Matt Parrott out of UConn, number 74, who really, by all stretches, seems to have a tremendous amount of athleticism.
Yeah, no doubt the athletic ability at tackle certainly helps, and the footwork. He's got super long arms. We're watching what we would call pace party. And, you know, the drill that we saw earlier, Paul, was combo blocks, working on backside cutoffs. This is now reach block. So you're on the front side of a play, and you saw Matt Parrott trying to reach Marcus Golden. The first play was Andrew Thomas trying to reach Lorenzo Carter. Now it looks like they're working left tackle again. As you mentioned, Mark Colombo running back and forth. He's getting a workout. Now here's a right tackle reach block. And this whole drill, this is the offensive and defensive drill. The defensive guys, that was Carter Coughlin, number 49, the rookie. They're working on their hand placement. They want to maintain leverage. All right? If you've got outside leverage, you're trying not to get reach. So you're fighting to maintain that C gap or that B gap. As an offensive lineman, you've got to give some ground horizontally and vertically. You've got to give ground vertically to gain ground horizontally. So that outside reach block, it's footwork, it's getting hands inside. But if your footwork, if you're crossing over, it will show up in that drill, as we saw with a couple guys being on the ground.
The other day, Mark Colombo talked about how he really wants to work on that initial punch at the snap. And for example, Andrew Thomas at Georgia, they did not teach the punch. For whatever reason, it wasn't part of their techniques down there. And so now he's going to have to learn it. How hard is it to learn that technique? And quite honestly, Sean, how important of a tool is that at the NFL level?
Well, anytime you come to the NFL, you take what you learned in college and you just say, look, I'm obviously going to pick up whatever techniques this new coach has. And I think, you know, offensive line play, it's all about using your hands. It's all about having low hips and having great footwork. So I have no concerns about Andrew Thomas learning any kind of new techniques. It's new for all of them because Mark Colombo is new. He's going to have a different way to handle different combo blocks. But Andrew Thomas started as a true freshman at right tackle at Georgia, some of the best and most talented football players in the nation in the SEC, and he more than held his own. He played in a national championship game as a freshman, so I have no doubt that he can handle the spotlight as well as any kind of new techniques.
Quarterbacks taking a bit of a break with the wide receivers. Again, gorgeous temperatures here in New Jersey, kind of mild though, because for the past month or so, we've had a lot of 90-degree days with heavy humidity, just like how Tom Coughlin used to like it, Sean. But I think the players are getting a bit of a break here. And on the fade route, the completion to Derrick Dillon, a diminutive wide receiver out of LSU who specialized at coming out of the slot when he was in college.
Yeah, nice little double move there. You can see he kind of faked the pivot route, the pump fake, and we talked about the fade routes. There's that they were working on air. Now they're going one-on-one. That's Darnay Holmes, right? Or excuse me, Corey Ballantyne, number 25 in coverage.
Sills with the catch.
Is that Austin Mack?
It is, out of Ohio State. A teammate of Benjamin Victor.
He's got a little suddenness to him. You can see a little, you know, he snapped that route off, and then after the catch, a little burst. This is Darnay Holmes right here, going against Golden Tate. Looks like a nice slot matchup we're going to see a lot of in training camp. And you know, Darnay Holmes is an interesting draft pick, a 5-star recruit out of high school. he's a heck of a player. Battled an ankle injury last year, but I like his feistiness. I like his athletic ability. And he's a returner, too. He had three returns for touchdowns last year, 2 on interception and 1 on a special teams. Nice catch by Sterling Shepard.
Against Bradbury.
Yeah, that's a fun matchup on the outside. Bradbury, obviously a big free agent pickup for the Giants this offseason. But Sterling Shepard with nice separation. Nice move to the inside there.
Alex Bachmann, who had a cup of coffee with the Rams before coming to the Giants practice squad late last season. Well, Sean, it's been another terrific day out here at Giants practice. We have enjoyed it. We hope you folks have as well. During the course of the week, we will be back with more of these inside looks at training camp presented by the Quest Diagnostics Training Center. Sean, it all ramps up again till Friday when we actually get a inter-squad scrimmage, and that's going to be the real culmination of what's going to be a terrific week here.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch that, and I know for the players too, it's going to be fun to go live. Work all week long, and then defensive guys get tired of having to tag off on the running back. They're going to look forward to taking somebody to the ground, and certainly for the players to kind of simulate what would be a preseason game since they don't have any of those. That will definitely be paramount. So it's been fun watching practice with you and your Air Monarchs.
Good to see you, Sean. And remember, you can follow all of your Giants news in action via all of the social media networks. That'll do it for the Inside Training Camp, presented by Quest Diagnostics. We'll see you again next time.